What would you do if two little girls showed up at your office claiming to be your daughters, and you had no idea they even existed? That's exactly what happened to Ryan Carter, a powerful billionaire who thought he had it all until the day two strangers with tear-stained faces and a crumpled napkin turned his perfect world upside down. What began as a normal corporate morning spiraled into a heart-wrenching discovery of past mistakes, hidden truths, and a woman he unknowingly destroyed years ago. But here's the twist: those girls weren't just there to meet their father. They were there to ask one terrifying question: why did you fire our mom when she needed you the most? This isn't just a story about money or power. It's a story about redemption, sacrifice, and what it truly means to be a parent. Stay with us, because what happens next will leave you questioning how far someone should go to make things right, and whether love can really heal what was once broken. 30 miles away, Ryan Carter's day started with nothing but precision. The glass windows of his penthouse glowed with sunrise as he sipped his imported espresso and flipped through financial reports. His company, Carter & Co., had just secured a multi-million-dollar contract for a commercial development in Midtown Manhattan. His assistant had already lined up 3 executive meetings, a power lunch at the Grand Oak, and a contract review before noon. The worlds of Emily and Ryan couldn't have been further apart. While Ryan took an elevator down to his private parking garage and stepped into his chauffeured Bentley, Emily had already been handcuffed in the janitor's closet on the 8th floor of Carter Tower. She never saw it coming. Earlier that morning, Emily had taken on a favor for $500, delivering a sealed envelope for someone she barely knew. She needed the cash. Bella's cough had turned into a chest infection, and the pharmacy wouldn't take partial payment anymore. Emily knew it sounded risky, but when you're choosing between medicine or eviction, choices aren't really choices. She barely had time to mop the last bathroom when 3 men in dark blue jackets cornered her. Emily Bennett. Yes, you're under arrest for possession and distribution of a controlled substance. Before she could say another word, the cuffs clicked shut. As they led her out through the lobby, the irony cut deeper than any accusation. She had once worked here at Carter Tower, before being laid off with no warning, no explanation, and no severance. And now here she was being marched out like a criminal. Meanwhile, upstairs on the 15th floor, Ryan didn't even glance at the elevator ding. He was too busy negotiating square footage on his next high-rise. The idea that someone who once scrubbed his office floor was being arrested right beneath his polished Italian shoes never even crossed his mind. Back in Eastwood, Brooklyn, time was moving slower. Sophie kept checking the clock. Their neighbor, Linda Hayes, had agreed to look in on them while Emily worked. But Linda was nervous. She hadn't heard from Emily all day. When the sun began to set and the door still didn't creak open, she knew something was wrong. That's when Sophie found the box. Hidden beneath the bed inside a shoebox wrapped in tape were newspaper clippings. Dozens of them, all featuring the same man, Ryan Carter. "Who is he?" Bella asked, squinting at a glossy photo of Ryan cutting a red ribbon with city officials. "I don't know," Sophie whispered, but Mom kept a lot of pictures of him. Among the clippings was a crumpled napkin. On it, written in Emily's neat cursive, was a name and an address: Ryan Carter, 88th floor, Carter Tower, Manhattan. Linda hesitated when the girls showed her. "Are you sure this is a good idea? He might know where our mom is," Sophie insisted. "He might be our dad," Bella added almost too softly to hear. The next morning, the 3 boarded a city bus, clutching nothing but a backpack, a stuffed bunny, and hope. When they reached the towering glass structure of Carter Tower, Linda's breath caught. She had never even set foot inside a building like this. Marble floors, live plants taller than her, receptionists dressed sharper than lawyers. But the girls didn't hesitate. They walked straight to the front desk. "We need to see Mr. Carter," Sophie said. The receptionist blinked. "Do you have an appointment?" "No," Bella answered. "But it's important. It's about our mom." There was something unsettling in Bella's eyes. Too grown for her age, too knowing. The receptionist hesitated, then dialed. Upstairs, Ryan Carter was reviewing floor plans when his assistant knocked. "There are 2 little girls in the lobby, and I think you need to see them." He agreed, reluctantly, annoyed at the interruption. But when the elevator doors opened and he saw the girls standing there, eyes wide, faces pale, something shifted in him. "I'm Ryan Carter. Can I help you?" Bella didn't hesitate. "Are you the man in the pictures under our mom's bed?" Ryan blinked. Sophie stepped forward. She's missing. She never came home. Ryan squatted to meet them at eye level. What's your mom's name, Emily Bennett? It hit him like a slap. The name rang a distant bell. Janitorial staff. Years ago, I think. She used to work here. She said you knew her, Bella said. She said you were the reason we were born. Ryan stared. Wait. What? Before he could react, the girls reached into their backpack and handed him the napkin, the one with his name and address. His hands trembled slightly as he read it. Something had just begun. Something that would unravel every truth he thought he knew. And in that moment, Ryan Carter realized this wasn't just another business day. This was the day his past came back wearing pigtails and sneakers. We're so sorry for the interruption. We'll continue this powerful story in the next part. But before that, what would you do if two children showed up claiming to be yours, and you never even knew they existed? Do you believe people can change when it truly matters, especially when children are involved? Tell us what country you're watching from. We'd love to know where this story is reaching hearts. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like this video so more people can experience it. The DNA results came back the next morning. Ryan Carter stared at the email from the lab with a lump in his throat, his hands cold despite the sunlight spilling through his office windows. 98% probability? There was no denying it. He was the biological father of Sophie and Bella, the very children sitting downstairs in his luxury penthouse right now, eating cereal from gold-rimmed bowls like strangers in a museum. He didn't know what to feel. Regret, confusion, fear. Mostly he felt completely lost. That night when he returned home, the house felt colder than usual. Martha Green, the housekeeper he'd rushed to hire, was sitting with the girls at the dining table trying to get them to eat. Bella didn't touch her food. Sophie just picked at hers. Do you girls like eggs? Ryan asked awkwardly, trying to sound casual. We're used to beans, Bella muttered. Sophie elbowed her gently. She means yes. Thank you. Ryan smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Later that evening, he found the girls sitting on the same bed, still fully dressed. Their belongings were stuffed into 2 plastic grocery bags on the floor, some old clothes, a single stuffed bunny, and a bundle of wrinkled newspaper clippings about him. He knelt beside them. You can stay here as long as you want. I've arranged for a nice lady to help take care of you. We don't want a nice lady, Bella said. We want our mom. There was silence, then a question he dreaded. When will she be back? Sophie whispered. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. He didn't know how to explain court dates or federal charges to 2 children with shoes 2 sizes too small. The next day at their first therapy session, Ryan met Dr. Patricia Wells, a soft-spoken woman with kind eyes and a sharp memory. They've lived in survival mode for years, she said after speaking to the girls. What they need now is safety, consistency, and honesty. Ryan nodded. On the way home, as he drove in silence, Bella suddenly turned her head and said flatly, You fired our mom. He almost slammed the brakes. She said she worked for you, and you let her go when she was pregnant with us. Ryan's mouth went dry. I don't remember that. You're lying. I'm not. He paused. I didn't know she was pregnant. I didn't even know she applied for medical insurance. Sophie reached across the back seat and grabbed her sister's hand. She said you only cared about money, Bella added, crossing her arms. Ryan didn't respond. Not because he didn't want to, but because deep down he feared she was right. That night, unable to sleep, Ryan asked his assistant to pull old employee records. What he found froze his blood. Emily Bennett. Hired in 2015, excellent performance reviews, 3-time Employee of the Month, applied for pregnancy insurance in March 2018, laid off 5 days later due to budget cuts. His signature was on the termination memo. He leaned back in his chair, hands trembling. He had done this. He had destroyed her life without even knowing it. The next day, Ryan called Dr. Karen Whitman, the girl's caseworker. I need to see Emily. Please. Today. When he sat across from her in the visitation room at Hudson Valley Correctional Facility, his heart dropped. She looked thinner, tired, but her eyes were still sharp. You came, she said, unsurprised. Why didn't you tell me, he asked, that you were pregnant? That the girls were mine? Would it have mattered? She asked, voice low. I tried. Your assistant said you didn't talk to cleaning staff, said you were too busy. I didn't know. No, Emily said bitterly. You didn't want to know. You signed my termination letter while I was applying for maternity insurance. I was preparing for a board presentation. I didn't even look at the names. That's what I thought. Just another name. Just another expense. Ryan couldn't breathe. I was scared, Emily admitted after a moment. Scared that you'd take them from me. You had money, lawyers. I had nothing. You kept all those clippings about me. For them, she said, in case they ever asked who their father was. I wanted them to know the truth, even if it hurt. Ryan felt his chest tighten. Emily, I didn't mean to. It doesn't matter, she said. What matters now is them. Don't screw this up. Back home, Ryan found Sophie drawing quietly on the floor while Bella stared out the window. How was your visit? Sophie asked. Ryan knelt beside them. Hard, but your mom, she wants you to know she loves you very much. Is she coming home soon? Bella asked. No, not yet. Then what happens to us? Ryan took a deep breath. You'll stay with me, if that's okay. Bella turned to face him, her expression unreadable. Will you abandon us when we become inconvenient? Ryan froze. No, never. We'll see, she said softly and went back to the window. We're sorry to pause the story here, but the next part will continue this emotional journey. Do you think Ryan deserves forgiveness for what he did in the past, even if it was unintentional? What would you do if you discovered you were responsible for destroying someone's life without knowing it? Tell us which country you're watching from. We love seeing this community grow worldwide. And if this story touched your heart, please give it a like, so others can feel it too. 3 months had passed since Ryan Carter signed away the empire he once ruled. The towering skyline of New York, once a symbol of his dominance, now felt like a distant memory, like someone else's dream. These days, Ryan woke up to a smaller world, a modest home in Maplewood, New Jersey, creaky floorboards and the sound of cereal crunching as 2 little girls debated over who got the last dinosaur-shaped pancake. And strangely, it felt more real than anything he'd ever built. Gone were the corner offices, the boardroom applause, the 6-figure watches. In their place, handmade drawings on the fridge, weekly therapy appointments, and the constant challenge of braiding Sophie's hair without turning it into a disaster. He had traded wealth for worth, and he wasn't looking back. But the road to redemption wasn't smooth. One morning after dropping the girls at school, Ryan received a call from Daniel, his estranged brother turned public defender. Ryan, the sentencing is scheduled, Daniel said. Emily Bennett, mother of Sophie and Bella, the woman Ryan had unknowingly abandoned, was being sentenced next week. The charges were serious, but her cooperation, clean prison record, and willingness to surrender full custody of the girls had worked in her favor. She would serve 6 years, with a chance of parole in 3. Will they let the girls say goodbye? Ryan asked quietly. She asked for one last visit. I think it's important. Ryan stared out at the street from his parked car, his fingers gripping the steering wheel. They deserve closure. That evening, Ryan sat the girls down in the living room. The fireplace crackled softly. Sophie was drawing as usual, and Bella hugged her stuffed bunny tightly. Your mom's going to be in prison for a little while longer, Ryan began, but she wants to see you one more time before that. Sophie nodded slowly, but Bella looked away. Is she mad at us? Ryan knelt beside her. No, she loves you more than anything. She just wants to say goodbye properly. At the prison visit, Emily looked stronger than before. Her cheeks had color, her posture was upright. She hugged her daughters across the table like she hadn't seen them in years. My beautiful girls, she whispered. You're growing so fast. We started a garden at school, Sophie said proudly. And Dad lets us pick dinner on Fridays. Bella added, still cautious but closer than before. Emily smiled. You call him Dad now. Bella looked at Ryan, then back at her mother. He's learning. After the visit, as they walked through the parking lot, Bella asked something unexpected. Will she come live with us when she gets out? Ryan paused, crouching beside her. She might live somewhere else for a while, but she'll always be part of your life, and I'll make sure you see her as often as possible. Will you still love us if she comes back? His heart broke. I'll love you no matter what. That'll never change. At home that night, Sophie curled up on the couch beside him. Mom said we should help you become the kind of dad we deserve. Ryan looked at her stunned. You already help me every single day. She grinned. Then we're doing a good job. Weeks passed. Ryan's company, now renamed Carter Rebuilds, had shifted to small community-based construction homes, schools, local housing. He insisted on safety gear, medical benefits, and full transparency. No shortcuts, no cheap labor, no exploitation. One day while walking through a job site in Queens, a grizzled worker named Mr. James approached him. You're not like the old Carter, the man said, wiping sweat from his brow. I was the old Carter, Ryan replied. Now I'm trying to be someone better. Mr. James nodded. My grandson wants to be an architect. Thanks for showing him that building things doesn't have to mean breaking people. That evening, Daniel stopped by for dinner, as he often did now. You know, he said, while helping Bella with her spelling homework, I used to think we'd never be family. Ryan looked at him across the table, and now Daniel smiled. Now I see you've earned the right to be. That night after the girls had gone to bed, Ryan sat outside under the porch light, staring at the stars. Bella's voice broke the silence. Can I sit with you? He scooted over and wrapped a blanket around her small shoulders. I had another dream, she whispered, but this one was different. Tell me, I dreamed that you and Mom were both there, and you weren't fighting. We were at the beach building sandcastles, and we were all laughing. Ryan felt a lump rise in his throat. Do you think that can happen one day, she asked. I think anything can happen if we work for it, he said softly. And I promise I'll keep trying. For you, for Sophie, for her. Bella leaned her head on his shoulder. Then I'm not afraid anymore. In that quiet moment under a dark sky full of possibility, Ryan finally understood what fatherhood truly meant. Not perfection, just presence, effort, love, and finally forgiveness. Now let us ask you, do you think Ryan's transformation was enough to truly earn a second chance at fatherhood and life? Would you forgive someone who hurt you if they were willing to lose everything to make it right? Tell us what country you're watching from. We love seeing how far these stories reach across the world. And if this story moved you, please tap the heart and share it with someone who needs hope. If you love this story, comment number 3. If it felt just okay, comment number 2. And if it didn't connect with you, comment, no, we're always trying to do better.